If you've ever met my Uncle Samson, you'd know he is a man who believes three things in life. 1. He is the most handsome man in the family. 2. He can dance better than any young person alive. 3. And, most importantly, every woman secretly wants to marry him. Now, Uncle Samson is 63. His hairline has retreated so far back it might be living in another state, but he still applies hair cream like he has a full afro. His stomach is shaped like a small drum, yet he insists it's just evidence of good living. For the last 10 years, he's been living alone after his first wife left him, something about him spending more time admiring himself in the mirror than paying school fees. But last month, Uncle Samson announced to the entire family that he had found true love again. We were all suspicious. His definition of true love usually meant a woman who smiled at him twice. He called a family meeting in our sitting room. My mother was cooking jollof in the kitchen, my father was pretending to read the newspaper, and my cousins were sitting on the floor, waiting for whatever drama was about to unfold. Uncle Samson walked in wearing a bright red suit and sunglasses, even though it was already 8 p.m. and we were indoors. He cleared his throat like a pastor about to deliver a sermon. My people, he began, I have found her. The bone of my bone. The yam to my porridge. The reason the sun rises. My cousin Kemi whispered, or maybe the reason your blood pressure rises. He ignored her. Her name is Sharon. She is 28, a fashion designer, and she says I look like Denzel Washington. My father coughed so hard the newspaper shook. Within a week, Uncle Samson was moving like a groom-to-be. He bought a new phone, started taking selfies in front of my mother's flower pots, and changed his WhatsApp status to, taken by the most beautiful woman in Nigeria. He also started a new fitness routine, which consisted of walking up and down the street twice in the morning, while greeting every neighbor loudly. After the second day, he claimed he could already see 6 packs coming out. The wedding was scheduled for a Saturday at the community hall. By Friday night, our house looked like a war zone. Aunties were sewing also ebi, uncles were polishing their shoes, and my mother was boiling enough rice to feed half of Lagos. The big day. Saturday morning, Uncle Samson came out of his room wearing a white suit so shiny it could blind you if the sun hit it. He had sprayed so much perfume that even the cat refused to stay inside. We arrived at the hall early. Sharon, the bride-to-be, was supposed to meet us there. The hall was decorated with balloons, plastic flowers, and a banner that read, "Love is sweet, especially at 63." Guests began arriving, taking seats, fanning themselves with church fans. The MC, a man who clearly loved his own jokes, started making announcements. But 30 minutes passed. Then an hour. No Sharon. Finally, a young man in a delivery uniform walked in, holding an envelope. He went straight to Uncle Samson and handed it over. My uncle opened it, and his face fell faster than the Nigerian stock market. The letter inside read, "Dear Samson, I am so sorry, but I cannot go through with this wedding. My ex-boyfriend returned from abroad yesterday, and he has promised to take me to Dubai. I wish you all the best. Please keep the also ebi. Yours sincerely, Sharon." The hall went silent. You could hear the generator outside struggling to stay alive. Then my cousin Kemi burst into uncontrollable laughter. Now, a normal man might have admitted defeat and quietly gone home. But this is Uncle Samson. He stood up, adjusted his sunglasses, and announced, "My people, the wedding is not cancelled. We are simply changing the bride." Gasps filled the hall. The MC looked confused. "Changing the bride to who, sir?" Uncle Samson pointed at a woman sitting near the back, a widow from our street who had only come to collect free jollof. She was in her mid-40s, wearing a simple blue gown, and looked like she had no idea what was happening. "Madam Grace," Uncle Samson said confidently, "you are beautiful, single, and already here. Will you marry me?" The poor woman nearly dropped her plate of puff-puff. Me? Today? I didn't even do my hair. But the crowd had already started clapping and cheering like this was a Nollywood movie. Madam Grace, blushing furiously, said, "Let me at least call my children first." Within 20 minutes, someone had found her a borrowed galley, the MC had written his introduction, and the caterers were reprinting the menu cards with her name. The wedding went ahead, lopsided, unexpected, and hilarious. Uncle Samson danced so hard during the couple's entrance that one of his shiny white shoes flew off and hit the DJ. The cake was shaped like a heart but leaned dangerously to one side, as if it also couldn't believe what was happening. During the vows, when the pastor asked, "Do you take this man as your husband?" Madam Grace hesitated for so long that my mother started coughing loudly to break the tension. She eventually said, "Yes. I think so." By evening, the whole thing had turned into a full-blown party. The jollof rice was the real winner of the day, fluffy, smoky, and perfectly spiced. Guests forgot all about Sharon, the runaway bride, and Uncle Samson walked around grinning like a man who had just won a political election. The best part. When it was time to open the dance floor, he pulled Madam Grace close and whispered loudly enough for everyone to hear, "See. True love always finds a way." We all nodded politely. But later, my father leaned over to me and said, "True love, my foot." He just didn't want the food to waste. That's how Uncle Samson went from being jilted at the altar to marrying the woman who only came for free food. To this day, every time he sees me, he winks and says, "Sometimes in life, you must be ready to adjust your wedding plans."